For Sunday, April 17th, you found the Georgia gang. Topping our agenda today, Georgia Power says it will freeze your power rates. In Cobb County, the commission approves that bridge to the Braves Stadium. And in DeKalb County, a new school tax could be illegal. Some of the stories up for grabs on the Georgia gang.
From the Fox 5 studios, the Georgia Gang starts now.
And we're glad you could be with us on this weekend that marks still a delayed entry to spring. It's a little chilly this weekend with all kinds of outdoor events. But we're going to talk about a subject we have not often addressed of late on the Georgia Gang, and that's Georgia Power. You know, you go through Georgia history, there is a deep antipathy toward the power company, which over the last decade to 20 years has been eased somewhat. The PSC, the Public Service Commission, is no longer the political cauldron that it once was. And this week, the PSC approved the merger of Giant Georgia Power with Giant Atlanta Gaslight Resources. I can remember a time when that would cause great howls. But Georgia Power did it right, Phil, by saying, okay, we were due for a rate increase in 2017. We're going to postpone all those rate increases until after 2019. Pretty good deal for the ratepayer.
This is a good deal for many aspects, and let's think about this a minute. This is going to be a giant energy company now in this country. It's expanding its portfolio.
Second largest, right?
It's expanding its portfolio, and already, and I would say the power company has enhanced its reputation over the last 30 years because it was a leader in clean, safe nuclear power. As we all know, we've got 2 units going at Plant Vogtle. We still enjoy right now, before this merger, among the lowest rates in the country. So we've been very fortunate.
I agree, and who can complain, Alexis, about a 3-year rate freeze?
Well, no one. However, I will say this interesting with Atlanta Gas. What is it?
AGL Resources.
AGL Resources. Right now, I'm on the budget plan, and my gas bill is higher than my electric bill, which is really the first time that that's ever happened. And so it makes sense.
You need to revisit your budget plan.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But
might be because it's wintertime.
Well, no. I have a budget year-round plan. That's what I'm saying. I have a budget plan.
Yeah.
So the monthly note is, or the payment is higher. So something's going on there, which doesn't make sense because we thought the gas prices were going down.
It's government Obama overregulation.
Oh, that's hilarious. You know, in the old days.
Actually, no, come on, Phil. Even I won't go that far.
Right, thank you.
It's deregulation.
It is deregulation. Right. In the old days, you know, they were competitors.
I would argue on that, but I'm going to let you move on.
I'm talking gas prices. Yeah. That's clearly deregulation to a free market, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but my point was, you know, you had the gas company and you had the electric company, and they were both trying to sell you a different set of appliances, right?
Right.
And now they're combining because they're essentially using the same sources of energy.
Well, and you know, I say that 3-year rate increase is a great idea. It's a great idea unless and until in 3 years, Georgia Power comes back with a 50% rate increase.
So like also.
Well, that's why.
And I'm afraid they might because of the nuclear cost overrun.
Well, let me just clarify that. That's why you referred to it as the PSC, the Public Service Commission. They're the ones that would have to approve a rate. No one in their right mind would be approving giant rates like that. Plus, you know, since we are building 2 new units over there by Waynesboro with nuclear units, they are going to have to get reimbursed for some costs.
We're already paying for that. Remember, that was the deal they struck with the PSC as they built it, that the consumers would help pay for it.
But the ratepayers are not paying for this merger, though.
No, that's true.
Let's be clear.
That's true. Well, also on the subject of freezes, Phil will be very happy because this week the Board of Regents voted formally to do what they said they were going to do. Excuse me. Freeze tuition at all state colleges and universities.
This is way past due. As we all know, we've had these tuition hikes for the last 5 years. It's been hurting our students and our parents, and so this is the right thing to do, and we also start cutting more. That's what the regents need to be doing. They've been, to their credit, merging, as we know, colleges. It's been a model for other states.
Yeah,
well, that's after they started 100 of them that
You know,
Well.
with a freshman in a Georgia college, you know, you can freeze tuition and keep raising rates. It's sort of like, you know, freezing taxes and continuing to raise fees.
You're talking about fees.
And so the question is, right, exactly. And so the question is whether or not they're going to do the same thing with
Well,
fees.
they did say there are going to be a few fee increases.
Yeah.
Free increases. That's almost a Bernie Sanders kind of
Yeah.
phrase, but a fee increase at some schools, but not all of them.
Right.
I think it's a step that's long overdue.
Well, obviously, the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech are far different from smaller colleges, so that's the rationale there. But we've got to, just to expand on this point a little bit more, we've got to, you know, up the funding. You know, the state has cut its funding to the university system, so that's another factor.
And I think it is time to really examine looking at state and consumer support across the board for higher education, as Bernie Sanders has been pushing, and President Obama as well, having the junior college paid for by taxpayers in general and have it free to the students.
It's not free because who pays the professors? Who pays for the buildings?
I'm saying have the taxpayers and consumers pay for it across the board as we do public education.
Okay, just all I ask is don't use the word free, because
Well, the children who go to school don't pay for school. It's free to them. That's what I'm saying.
All
it would
I
be
can
free
say
to the
about that
students.
is that would be huge.
Yeah, but it's something that we should consider in the 21st century.
Though it's not totally impracticable, I want to return to a better age, a far better age in this great nation of ours, when parents actually said, oh gosh, here's Junior, we better start saving to pay for Junior's college education.
But those are
How about
parents-
that concept?
Well, those are parents who had the means to do that. Many parents who are
then
poor do not have the means to do it.
Junior makes his appearance, you say, uh-oh, time to start saving, time to get serious. Isn't that how this is supposed to work?
well, and you know what? Let's talk about our great state and its Hope Scholarship. I'm surprised more states have not followed our model to help, you know, students of all income levels.
And it has evolved, though, into a thing that has helped the middle class, so the kids get a car instead of having to pay tuition. So
Well-
it's balancing.
But you're getting good
supporting
grades.
people.
You're getting good grades, and you're getting good students.
Everyone knows, studies have shown that grades are directly proportionate to socioeconomic status.
Well, yes and no.
Well, then that means you give up.
You give, you
Yeah,
don't
that
give up.
argument, I'm so sick of that
No,
argument
you
of
don't,
yours.
you don't give up.
If you
do not
believe
give up.
that,
you
that
give
means children
additional
can't
support.
succeed.
No, you give additional support to those who need it.
You know,
For how long? 40 years, 50 years, 100 years?
I don't know.
50
How long did you
years?
hold them back?
But you know the Ron Clark Academy. We're all supportors of the Ron
Thank
Clark
you.
Academy.
Yes.
It's a private academy. He's taken admirably kids from low income, low socioeconomic aspects, and has just transformed that into high grades and students. You know, we could say all day how they've been successful. So it can be done.
Are they cherry picked?
Yes, and they get
No.
yeah.
No?
Well,
No,
yeah.
they aren't.
Now, while
I've been over there,
while-
and that's a
Well,
question.
the
That's a
other thing
good
is-
question, but
well,
the answer is no.
But I bet you look at what is the price per student over there too.
They are
They
the
have
parents who
supplemental.
took the initiative
right.
to put their kids in that school.
And they probably also are saving for college. Now,
Yes.
On the subject of rate increases, we don't often hear from our insurance commissioner, Ralph Hudgens. That job has changed over the years, but this week he kind of called out Allstate Insurance Company for what he says is a rate increase proposal, I believe, of 25%, that he said could go as high as 58%. And he says the new laws make him powerless in the face of this rate increase. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I'm surprised that we have those laws on the books that don't allow the insurance commissioner to oversee these rates, just as we were talking about the PSC overseeing the rates of utility companies, and that you can have what could be a 50% rate with, what is it, the second largest auto insurer in the state. And there's no state recourse at all. There's no government recourse.
By the way, Allstate says that it only applies to 3 of their many lines of insurance.
Okay.
But I haven't seen that spelled out. I don't
If
know.
Well,
one of
you-
them is automobile, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, that's right. And again, this is due
Exactly.
because, and again, you won't like this, but this is due. And even Hillary Clinton says we need to fix Obamacare. Even your Democrat.
Everybody says we need
What's
to
it got to
fix
do with
Obamacare.
You know what? It's because.
What's it got to do with automobiles?
Well, because of premiums going up.
Oh.
That's the problem.
What?
Which premiums? We're talking about
I'm talking about
when
insurance.
you drive your car.
I'm talking about insurance.
And that,
I think I need to give you a tutorial on how insurance
We have
works.
to get
Yeah.
out.
You
When
need
we
the
come back,
tutorial.
3 cheers for Tim Lee in Cobb County. It's about time. Stay with us.
Have a question or comment for the Georgia Gang? Visit their website at fox5atlanta.com.
On this broadcast, we've discussed in great detail the effort by Cobb County Commission Chairman Tim Lee to get a bridge built from the Galleria area over to, what is it, the Assembly it's called?
SunTrust Park.
What's it called? SunTrust Park, but the Assembly, is that what they call the big project? And this week, the Cobb County Commission, without fanfare, approved it. $10 million, build a bridge. Now the question is, when will it be open?
Well, we hope opening day, and that's what Chairman Lee said.
They might not need it.
Well,
if the Braves keep playing like they're playing,
no one may show up. Alexis has got a good point there. If they haven't won yet since we've taped. But anyhow,
my goodness.
I think some thanks are also due to the Cumberland CID, which really helped Chairman Lee. It got Chairman Lee out of a pickle.
They kicked in $5 million, right?
That's right, and so that's why they're moving forward, and of course they're moving forward with infrastructure and all of that. Tim Lee isn't the greatest person when it comes to transparency, but I think it is a coup.
Well, it is, and that's why I said 3 cheers, because
got it done.
He was the butt of an awful lot of jokes and some incredibly unflattering coverage in the AJC for months and months and months. So I think this is a pretty good win for the chairman, who, by the way, is up for re-election. We should point that out.
And has 2 opponents.
Yes, name them.
I have no idea who the 2 opponents are.
I'm sorry, that's really unfair, because I can't either. That's really unfair to do to a pundit. Name them.
But you did it anyway. Yeah.
It's like asking somebody, what is the DeKalb budget these days?
Yeah.
Deer in the headlights, folks. All right, let's stay in DeKalb for just a minute. Intriguing notion here. The DeKalb School Board and the new superintendent, Dr. Steve Green, have, Dr. R. Stephen Green, as the PR guy likes to remind me. But since he's a Kansas City and I am too, he's Dr. Steve Green to me. Got it? Good. No more Dr. R. Stephen Green. Anyway, Dr. Steve Green wants to have another SPLOST renewal to build schools and add on to them. Swell, but he doesn't want to tell us what they will be. He's picked an amount, and on the May ballot, he proposes that the voters of DeKalb County vote for a pig and a poke. Cast a blind eye to what possibly their money could be used for, and just give the school board the money to build. Now, I happen to think, as I may have just suggested, that's a terrible idea, right? I also think that it's never been done in Georgia. There has never been one where they didn't specify the project. And guess why? Because it's illegal.
Well, Senator Fran Malaris reached out to the superintendent, wrote him a letter saying that he thought that there were some constitutional requirements that haven't been met there. And you know, time is of the essence now. We're talking about an election that's going to be held, or vote, in this case a referendum that's going to be held next month. And the Constitution clearly spells out that you have to have a specified project list with a maximum
total
budget
amount, an amount for each project.
That's right. That's right.
Well, and I guess what Senator Miller is asking Dr. Steve Green to do is reach out to Atlanta and Fulton County, because under the law the 3 are linked if they do SPLOST, and for Atlanta and Fulton County to defer their e-SPLOST elections until the spring to give DeKalb County time to put together a project list. I don't see Atlanta or Fulton County doing that because, as you said, Jeff, it's just too far along.
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing Green has gotten himself in this mess.
Well, you know, he's the new guy, and
he evidently did not get good.
He didn't get good legal counsel
on that.
I don't know. We'll see where that goes, but based on Senator Miller's reading of the state constitution, it looks like he's the one who's on solid ground here. And I can tell you, the people that I deal with in DeKalb County are of no mood to vote to give the school board millions of dollars that they haven't said what they plan to spend it on. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either, I don't think.
No county or city would want to do that.
Yeah. All right. In Fulton County, part of an end to a long-running saga, former Commissioner Bill Edwards, who represented South Fulton County, was somewhat loose with his campaign reporting. It was $14,000 in cash that wasn't accounted for. There was another $80,000 in cash or in contributions that or expenses that still hasn't been accounted for. The Ethics Committee fined him this week. The Ethics Committee seems to be getting its footing, and they fined him a good bit of money for that.
Finally, in fact, we all ought to be pleased with the fact that new life has been breathed into the Ethics Committee, and it's a better watchdog than, as we know, it's been dysfunctional over the last 3 years or so.
And in DeKalb County, and I should have done this when I talked about the East Blast, in DeKalb County there's a heck of a race for district attorney between Robert James, the incumbent, and the incumbent Solicitor General Sherry Boston. I mean, it is a major race that's lost in this very short time period before the primaries in May, but there is no Republican running, so the winner will be declared. Sherry Boston this week, it seems to me, got a huge boost, well, a 2.5 boost. She got the endorsement of Thomas Brown, the former sheriff who's run countywide, the endorsement of J. Tom Morgan, another countywide winner, and former district attorney, and then another former district attorney, Bob Wilson, who's becoming an irrelevant twit involved in the new cities.
Oh, my.
What do you think?
Well, I do not ascribe to your characterization of Bob Wilson. I mean, all of these are upstanding fellows who've got, I don't know, probably combined 40 years or more of law enforcement experience.
And
two
successful
of them,
countywide wins.
Exactly right. Successful countywide. J. Tom Morgan, Bob Wilson probably have a combined 24 years as a district attorney. So for them to come out in opposition of the sitting incumbent district attorney, I think speaks volumes to voters, and I hope they are listening.
Unheard
Sherry
of,
Boston,
actually. Think back, I've never
it is
heard of it.
unheard of. Tom Brown, equally popular, I think, in DeKalb County, also endorsing Sherry Boston, and I think that this gives some real momentum to her campaign, which already had a tremendous amount of momentum.
And James has already been fined for ethics violations.
Right.
Yes.
And James also has had to reimburse the county for meals in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And he won't honor freedom of information requests.
Oh, that's a nice way to do it. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about politics, but we're also going to look at a kind of a strange case in Gwinnett County and the emergence of the head ball coach at Georgia, Kirby Smart, becoming a lobbyist, and a pretty good one. Stay with us.
Have a question or comment for the Georgia Gang? Visit their website at fox5atlanta.com.
We won't spend a lot of time on this, but it is somewhat strange when an assistant district attorney plans to testify as a character witness in the trial of an alleged terrorist. And this is happening in Gwinnett County.
It is. It's quite a story. Sabrina Nazan is the name of this senior assistant district attorney, works for, of course, Danny Porter, the DA, and she is becoming a character witness for her brother-in-law, an accused Al-Qaeda funding person. It's a real shocker, and I think it's a lose-lose here, because if she's a character witness in court to bring this scumbag to Gwinnett County, that doesn't speak well. And if the court doesn't find her credible, that's also
So I
not
gather
good.
he wants to be, part of what he wants to do,
He wants to come
and live in Gwinnett County under supervision with his
Duluth.
family.
And the sister-in-law, the ADA, would be vouching for him. It's crazy.
And then
He ought to be in jail in Guantanamo. I don't even know why we're doing all of this, but that's another story.
Has he been convicted yet?
That's the
he-
thing.
I think that Phil just convicted him.
Well, you know what? I have a First Amendment right to my opinion. If the Obama administration,
Even if it's wrong,
Dick,
yes.
if the Obama administration is going after this guy as a funder of Al Qaeda, it's got to be bad.
That's right. It's got to be serious
Yeah.
if Obama's concerned.
Oh, my.
All right, and then because we do deal in freedom of information on this broadcast, one of the late items that snuck through the General Assembly was a Freedom of Information statute in which the athletic departments, athletic associations make that because they're private,
Right.
of the universities and the state system have 90 days to comply with Freedom of Information requests instead of the customary 3.
Right.
First Amendment Foundation opposed this, but apparently Kirby Smart, when he went down to the Capitol, the new head coach at Georgia, had some talking to do.
He did. He was chit-chatting with Representative Earl Harrahart and a couple others and said, you know, we want an even playing field with some of these other football giants in the conference.
Bama and Auburn.
That's right. They didn't want recruiting information sent out in 3 days. I think it's a bit draconian to make it 90 days, but that's the way it is. It passed, and these are some of the bills we're just finding out about.
Right.
So, okay, if I want to find out about Robert James's lunches, he's got to answer me in 3 days.
Yes.
But if I want to find out about what was spent to recruit, you know, Dynamite Shakur from such and such a high school, I get
90 days.
90 days. That's kind
You
of
gotta wait a
strange,
while.
isn't it?
Yeah, 3 days, 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big difference.
All right, now, we have a little bit of a disagreement here among the gang, which is not all that unusual, but I finally had enough. And on Thursday night, I refused to watch the debate between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. I just couldn't do it. It was just something in my mood. Perhaps the Braves' 9 losses through Thursday, whatever. I couldn't watch it. I kept getting alerts on my phone that they were all over each other about what? How free is free? What on earth are they debating about? They agree, don't they?
You know,
Well,
I'm going to be very objective here. I thought Hillary Clinton won that very contentious debate hands down, and it showed just how crazy, how far left that Bernie Sanders really is. And it's obvious that Bernie Sanders, I love to hear you guys weigh in, how he doesn't know much about the Mideast politics and other things. That say what you will about Hillary, she's a liberal, she's made mistakes, she screwed up Libya, which Sanders rightly pointed out. But Sanders doesn't really know what he's talking about with regard to the Palestinian-Israeli situation. He's really rough on Israel.
Yeah, he
was.
is.
And I took umbrage at his comments about, he kind of brushed off Hillary's success in the Deep South.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Because you
What
know
are
how,
they,
how conservative
Deep
they
South,
are.
Deep South second-class citizens.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It's kind of like Cruz's comment about New York values. I know what he meant, but I wouldn't have said that.
Exactly right. So he was saying, you know how conservative they are.
In the meantime, on the Republican side, it seems to me that Donald Trump this week just continued to whine. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Whined over Colorado.
Well, I disagree. I think he had a great, one of his best speeches was at the New York Republican Gala just on Thursday night, and I think he's pivoting, which he has to do.
Wasn't he, about Colorado? That's what I saw.
No, he's totally pivoted, Dick, and I think it's smart. Now, whether this will be proved successful, you know who also made big news this week was our own Republican National Committee man, Randy Evans, who said, you know, if Trump gets around 1,100 delegates, that could really put him in. And here's what Randy made news about. He said, it's conceivable, if you look in the crystal ball, that the Cruz-Trump forces, if they keep going second, third, fourth ballots, they could suspend the rules and then say, we're going to knock out the third contender, Kasich, and then see where all those delegates go.
Well,
yeah,
again, take it away from them. We got to get out. But boy, taking it away from the people, then Trump does have a whine if something like that happens.
And an independent candidacy for the general election.
It's too late. You know what?
We
The
gotta get out.
deadlines of all the states is too late. It can't be mounted.
All right, when we return, winners and losers.
Time now for the week's winners and losers.
And we'll go straight to you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Dick. Well, I want to mention again Sherry Boston and that big win with those endorsements from J. Tom Morgan, Bob Wilson, and Tom Brown. That's huge for her and gives her a tremendous amount of momentum. Bernie Sims, a friend, community leader of many people in this town, was gunned down in his front yard last week. It is an incredible tragedy, and you know, it just reminds you that Black Lives Matter. That movement ought to matter to everyone, no matter your race or your age. Apparently a 17-year-old has been arrested in that crime, but we've got to be able to do better than this.
Yeah, well,
Gunning down a 70-year-old in his front yard.
Of course I agree with you, but tell that to the Black Lives Matter protesters, unfortunately.
Well, I am doing exactly that.
There
right
you go.
now.
Thank you. All right, Phil?
Well, I do agree. Barney Sims is a winner. He was a great community leader, and he lived in a high crime area, and all lives do matter. I know you do believe in that, Jeff. But I tell you, one of my losers is Clarkston Mayor Ted Terry, and here he goes this past week saying that he wants his city council to decriminalize marijuana. Well, wait a minute. state and federal law still trump whatever some city council does, and so he's a total loser and wrong again. And boy, I was at the Masters last weekend, and the big loser, and I was rooting for him, was Jordan Spieth when he just fell apart there in the last part of Sunday afternoon.
Psychological, right?
Yeah,
I
too
think
bad.
so.
Yeah,
You're the
but
doctor.
a kid from the public courses in Britain won, so it was okay. It was fine. I was with Spieth too.
Right,
Go ahead,
okay,
Alexis.
of course I want to salute Barney Sims, a life well lived, but cut too short. And then I want to say Scarlett Presley Brown is my winner. She recently conducted the 37th annual SEL Women's Drum Major for Justice Awards dinner in Evelyn Lowry's memory, so that was a wonderful event. And then Sean Cooper, former GM of Lockheed, who is this? And now she's an executive at West Rock, the general manager of the Hyatt, Peter McMahon, and I can't read my own writing here. Oh, film producer Devon Franklin, and Georgia Powers, the corporate citizen, all recognized by Atlanta Technical College.
All right, we've got to get out. I will say this, the Braves were winless through Thursday. Winless through Thursday. It's just beyond belief. The Falcons' schedule was announced. They open with New Orleans and North Carolina. Lose those two, and it's going to be a very long season. But they close on New Year's Day against New Orleans right here on Fox. So we can look ahead to football while suffering with the Braves. See you next week on the Georgia Gang.
The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the panelists appearing in this program.